Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to Fitness Marketing Hub. Good. You guys picked a good day to tune in. It's my first cup of coffee, so give me some time here. We have a good show today. Today we have Sara Frenza joining us. Sara is a personal trainer. She's a fellow Canadian. She has been training, I don't know the exact length of time, but I do know that Sara managed to build a local personal training business that is completely online. It's a really interesting story. There's a lot of it that I haven't even heard yet because Sara and I actually spoke in person for the first time about 2 minutes ago. So I'm going to be learning about this as you do, but I think this is a great chance for you guys to ask questions. She has built a complete program, fitness and nutrition. She's going to get into the weeds. She's going to tell us how she attracts clients, how she's managed to have it grow, and it is her full-time income. This is not a side hustle for her. This is her full-time job, and we're going to learn all about that today. In addition, any questions you guys have, anyone wants to talk about their own channels, let's do that. Sorry, I'm getting messages as I go. So let's get rolling. Let's get Sara on here.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Like how
Monday, everyone.
Tripped all over myself in my intro as usual.
It's okay.
So welcome.
How are you? Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super, super excited to talk to everyone here today.
Absolutely. Really happy to have you. So you're from, you just mentioned just outside of Hamilton, right?
Yeah. So I grew up in Stony Creek. I don't know if you know where Grimsby is, but I live just south of Grimsby. So I'm from this area, pretty much born and raised in this area. Haven't moved out of here.
Amazing. So we'll jump right into it because I know you have limited time today too. So how long have you actually been training people? Because I know you had mentioned, I read one of your bios where you lost 50 pounds in a different program.
Yes.
And that kind of, I think, it sounds like that's what sparked you to get into fitness as a full-time career.
Yes, exactly. So I'll give everybody a little bit of a quick backstory here. So I started working with so first of all, I gained a lot of weight during both of my pregnancies. I tried multiple diets to try and lose the weight. I saw one of my friends had posted her transformation story or her transformation pictures. And I was like, oh my God, you look amazing. Like, how did you do that? And so she told me that she had worked with a coach, which you know who she is, Coach JVB. She's the president of Strong Fitness Magazine now. So at the time I had reached out to her and I started coaching with her. And honestly, she got me into the best shape of my life. And we celebrated my transformation with a professional photo shoot. And it was at that photo shoot that I really felt super, super empowered. Because for me, I had really seen the transformation that had happened in my life, not only physically, but also mentally and with my mindset as well, too. So that day there at that photo shoot is when I decided that I wanted more women to feel like this, because I had gone from avoiding mirrors and not liking what I see to seeing this physical transformation at that photo shoot. And it was then that I decided that I wanted to help women as well too, and help women feel empowered and amazing. So then, I talked to my coach at the time, Coach JVB, and she gave me some direction. I'm like, hey, like if I want to do this, what should I get in terms of certification? So I started getting my nutritional coaching certification. Then I went through the personal training certification. And then I also took her certification, which is Strong Formula Certified, teaching coaches or teaching personal trainers and nutritionists how to take women through successful transformations. Okay. So basically everything that she had taught me and done with me, I had learned all of her strategies. So from there, that was back in 2021. So one of my certifications that I took, I actually had to work with guinea pigs in order to get certified. This was my nutritional coaching certification. That's through NCI, Nutritional Coaching Institute. And so that's how I actually started working with women, is that I had to work with at least 3 people as guinea pigs and submit my work in order to get my certification. So that was at the, like I would say, I started working with them in September of 2021, the end of 2021.
Okay.
At the same time, I started doing strong formula. I was finishing my strong formula certification at that time as well too. And like by the end of 2021, that's when I started working with people, with women, one-on-one. So through the guinea pigs, and then the other thing is that I was always very, very open about my journey on Instagram. So I had a lot of people watching my journey. Like I would share recipes, I'd show people that I'd be working out. I always had a lot of people watching my journey through Instagram. So when I started telling people that I was coaching women, that's, I had a lot of what we call the low hanging fruit. Like we had a lot of those people that were watching me that when I said, hey, I'm coaching women, they all raised their hand and said, yeah, I want to work with you. I'd like to possibly work with you. So at this time, I was working a full-time career. My background is in marketing. So I was working a full-time career at that time. And then the beginning of 2022, I actually asked my current employer at that time, because at that time I had already like 20 clients that I had started working with at that time. So I had to, it was, a lot of work to work with the 20 clients and have a full-time career as well too. And plus have 2 kids and run my household. So I had asked them at that time, is it okay? Like, this is something that I want to do full-time. I'd like to pull back if you're okay with it. I want to go to part-time hours and I will help you find someone that can replace me. Now, at the time, I thought it would have been a year of me doing this to build up my business, my side hustle to where I could be making an income where I could leave my full-time career. So that was the beginning of January 2022. And honestly, things just started snowballing for me. Like things just started snowballing for me to the point, like in March, I had to tell my employer, like, I have to be gone by the end of April. Like, I'm getting a lot of clients. I'm working with a lot of people. So by May of 2022, I was doing this full time.
So when you were setting out to do this, because the first thing I picked up on there was 2021 when you were getting your certification. So you're right in the middle of COVID. So obviously you had no choice but to start online. Was it online you were thinking, or did you figure eventually?
No,
it was online from day one, no matter.
Yeah, it was online from day one because that's how I had worked with my coach, was all online.
Right.
So that was the experience that I had, was everything was online. I was like, I love this. It's like, she's giving me my nutrition plan. She's giving me my workout program. I could do it at home. I could do it on my own. I'm getting amazing results and I don't have to travel anywhere to see anyone. I could just do this all online. Yeah. And so I always had the intention, like I was going to do it online, just as my own experience was with her.
Okay. Yeah. So I definitely being able to start during COVID, huge advantage. The fact that you launched in January, perfect. Like that's the time to do it. And that's the thing, is you're able to maintain that momentum, which is awesome. Yeah. So at the onset, one thing that really intrigued me, that, like I said, we talked for 2 seconds off air before we jumped on here, but when you mentioned that, aside from the fact that your program is completely online and digital, and you can be anywhere, you cater majority to local clients.
I do.
Which is, it's actually, I mean, I'm sure lots of people do that, but I've never actually spoken to somebody that did that before. So again, was that by design from the onset, or is that something that it just, like, it, because of word of mouth was assisting with creating new clients, it just became like, I know you're probably not closed off from dealing with people from anywhere, but
it wasn't intentional. Honestly, it wasn't intentional because I'm online. I could really work with anybody around the world, but like I told you earlier, a lot of my clients that come to me are referrals. And
Yeah.
so because I started with local clients, because the people that were following me on Instagram were friends or friends of friends, I started off with them first. So they
Mhm.
became like, my base clients at that time. And then that grew from there. So that meant a lot of their friends that they're referring and family that they're referring are all local as well too.
Mhm.
And then actually I get a lot of clients from my school, like the school that my kids go to. So a lot of the teachers there are my clients, and then the moms have become my clients. So it's just interesting how, it wasn't intentional for me to have local clients, but that is really majority of where my clients come from, all within the GTA area in
Yeah.
Toronto area.
I think that's good too. Like I mean, a lot of the people that are watching this may not know much about Stony Creek area, but it's not that big.
No, it's not.
And anybody that would have known you would have witnessed this transformation and this weight
That's right.
loss.
Yeah.
So, like, there's so many different ways to attract an audience, and everybody has to kind of figure out exactly what their method is, because I think some people, they just throw things at every single wall and nothing
Mm.
sticks because nothing is really proprietary to a particular niche.
Yeah.
And the fact that, people have, because I grew up in a small town, so I know what it can be like. And
Yeah.
people that would have seen you lose weight, they see you in the grocery store and stuff, they're like, what did you do? And that's how
Exactly.
it starts. And then if they start seeing results from the same program, if you've got a good program in place, somebody's going to say to them, what did you do? Well, I talked to her. And it just kind of grows exponentially. And really, it doesn't matter if you leave Ontario with your business, because it's just going to keep branching out.
Yeah.
And it's a very tight sense of community. And I think that's important, because it's not always, particularly with people when it comes to weight loss, it's not always the program so much it is the community. Like, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think a few things that I did from the beginning is, number one, I sat down, and it's not that I came up with this. I have business coaches that have helped me along the way as well
Mm-hmm.
too, is identify your ideal client avatar. And for me, because when I'm creating content on Instagram or Facebook or anything like that, I am speaking to the women that I want to work with, right?
Yeah.
So that is really, really important from the get go. But yeah, community is really, really big. I started my own Facebook community. I nurture that Facebook community. I go live twice a week in there. I invite the friends of my current clients into the community as well too. And the program needs to be good too, but I think it's the experience. It's the customer service and the experience that you give to your clients, because if they feel that they're having a good experience, but also getting results, that's a big one
Mm-hmm.
as well too, right? But also getting results, they're going to go talk to their family and friends about that.
Yeah.
And I also share a lot of transformations, which is something that I've learned as well too from my business coaches. Is so when I share my transformations of my clients, they share it on their Instagram or they share it with their friends, and
Mm-hmm.
then that trickles from there as well too.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Jacqueline was on last week, and
Mhm.
for those that may have watched last week, Jackie is with the same company and brand as Sara is,
Yeah.
and so they work in the same thing, and that was her biggest point, was the fact to actually focus on your clients, get them in shape,
Yeah.
and then exploit that essentially, in a good way.
Exactly.
It's a bad word to use, but it's in a good way,
Yeah.
because there is no more powerful marketing than actual people that have seen results.
Well, you got to think about that. Like, people are coming to you, they're on your page. They want to like make sure that you can get results. I think about when I hired Jenny. The reason why I hired Jenny is because I knew she got my friend results. I saw my friend's transformation.
Yeah.
I saw her before and after picture. So for me, it closed that loop for me to be her client, because I
Mm-hmm.
knew she could get me results and I knew she had gotten my friend results. So I always go back and think about my journey and how I chose to work with Jenny. And it all came from the fact that she showed a lot of transformations. I'm like, wow, I know she can get people results. A lot of times I go to other, I'll see other coaches' pages, and they don't show a lot of results, right? And so that visual results, I think, is really, really important for you to share so that people can know you can get them the results that they're looking for at the end of the day.
Yeah. Oh. Good morning, Kish. So this is actually a really good point. It's something else that we've never brought up before. And sometimes when I'll do different videos focusing on production or things like that, like I always do try and give advice that's not associated with an enormous amount of spending, because simply, especially in these days, in the day and age, whatever, people can't. They just
Yeah.
don't have the income. Some just don't want to. Some just are not able to. So I always try and keep it relatively affordable. But there are times when, you know, upgrading your camera a little bit could make a massive difference in the long-term effects of a
Mhm.
social media channel and therefore a fitness brand. Because again, you're trying to funnel clients, you're trying
Yeah.
to produce quality content that will bring in clients. Now, I know with you, right off the bat, there is the Strong Girls
Yeah.
affiliation.
Yeah.
I know that there are costs associated with being attached to any brand.
Yeah.
I also know that you do some of your social media work with Reframe, which
That's right.
is Kristen and
Yeah.
Jill.
Yeah.
So you're not afraid to
Invest.
invest in your brand.
No.
And what are to you are the benefits of this as opposed to if you were to just try and do this yourself? Because most of the people that are probably watching this are trying to do it themselves.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is a great chance, because I mean, I'm sure that your annual investment in your brand is probably significant.
It
Um,
is. It
and
is.
but it's obviously paying for itself because you keep doing it. So
Exactly. Exactly. So
so let's start with the Strong Girls program. What are the advantages to having a brand behind you that you can work with? Whether, I mean, again, like I don't know, I'm sure the first asset with your brand, especially locally, is going to be yourself and your own transformation. So now
mhm.
after that, definitely having this brand behind it. And I've worked with Jenny and Vince, so I know quite a bit about what they do. But from
Yeah.
the inside, what are the advantages that you felt from being affiliated with another company?
Yeah, so with Jenny and Vince, I'm one of their franchisees, but I run underneath my own brand. Actually, I'm not a Strong Girls coach, and that's just because I wanted to run underneath my own brand. I'm still a
Okay.
franchisee of theirs, but I decided I wanted to have my own business and my own business name and run underneath that.
Yeah.
But the biggest advantage with working with them is like they've given me a business in a box, right? So they've been able to they provide me with weekly coaching calls on how to grow my business and all of the strategies that they've really used, these past 20 years in their own experience. They've passed it along to me.
Mhm.
And I've got access to programming, I've got access to anything they've ever done. I can completely white label and use it within my own business. But also they help me navigate, right? Like those weekly coaching calls are so important with them. They help me
Mhm.
navigate through my business. They teach me frameworks that have worked for them before in the past. And the reason why I've decided to invest in my business with coaching is because I had two choices, right? First of all, I went back to my own experience. When I invested with coaching, with one on one coaching for my health and fitness journey, I realized I was able to get to my goal a lot faster.
Mhm.
Like I had tried doing things on my own, like figuring out my own macros. I just came to a point where I was like, I'm not getting anywhere. I'm not getting the results that I want. So I invested with a coach, right?
Right.
So I approached my business in the exact same way. It's like I could do this on my own and it could take me years to get me where I wanted to go. Now, keep in mind, I'm over 40. I'm going to be 45 this year, right?
Mhm.
So, with me in my mind, is like I want to get to where I want to be in my goals and I want to get there fast.
Yeah.
Right. So, I don't have time to waste here. I need to get to where I want to be and I need to get there fast. So that is why I invested with, becoming a franchisee with Jenny and Vince. I have their support. They teach me, everything that they've ever done and they help me grow my business and really scale my business. And that's why literally by November of 2022, I hit the 100K mark already.
Yeah.
Okay. It's because I did invest. Yes, I'm paying for that investment, but the dividends that are coming back to me are a lot more than what I would have done on my own.
I'm a big believer in the term "stay in your lane," and I
Yeah.
do promote that on here a lot. There are people who are, um, they're good trainers, they're in great shape, um, and they have amazing personalities for connecting and building communities, but horrible business sense.
Yeah.
And when that's the case, and you don't have something that important, it doesn't matter how great your personality is, you will spin your wheels. And
Mhm.
so at times having something like that, whether it is an established brand behind you that has assets that you have access to,
Mhm.
or whatever that may be, whether there's an expense up front or not, regardless of the size, when there's people out there that can give a testimonial to the fact that yes, it cost me this much, but I made this much more. Um,
Exactly.
there and it's a hard thing to get around. I've been like that myself with my own business, like trying to build it out. When I started this business, I had no plans for it whatsoever, and then all of a sudden, it got really busy. This was just meant to kind of talk about my other YouTube channel and how it grew. This channel started making more money than that channel did really fast.
Mhm.
And it was all through like external products and services. So it's like, you know, being prepared and kind of having that structure in place can be great, even if you don't feel you need it. Sometimes it's just,
Yeah.
it's great. And you get additional exposure through companies and stuff. And
Well,
um,
the other thing I want to bring up too is like I've never run my business before. I've never run a business before in my life.
mhm,
I've never been an entrepreneur, right? So it was like I wanted this really really bad. I always keep my goal and my vision and my mission really really clear to me, which is I want to help women, right? I want to
mhm,
transform lives and I want to help women. So I didn't know anything on the business side of it, right? I did need help with that. That was a really, really big thing for me. And then that's why I invested with Reframe Your Brand as well, too, is because I want to look good. I want to look professional. I need to
mhm.
have the right marketing materials so that on my I can use it on my Instagram. I can use it on my website. I can use it with all the assets that I put out there. Like I want to have really great professional images to use to go along with that.
Totally. Um, so your main social platform for business growth would be Instagram, or I know Facebook you use for community purposes. Which one
But
actually gives
both of
you
them. Both
both
of
of them?
them actually. Yeah. Okay, so I started off like really getting a lot of clients through Instagram,
Hmm.
but and I nurture. So here's the thing too, like on Instagram, you got to be on there every day. Okay? Like you got to be on your stories every single day. You have to be very active. You have to push out a lot of content, but I'm pushing a lot of the people from Instagram to come into my Facebook community to nurture them so that I
Yeah,
can convert.
yeah,
and
smart.
and that's really my funnel is like Instagram. Yes, some people will convert directly from Instagram, but it's Instagram. Come to my Facebook community. Let me nurture you within my Facebook community, and then once I've given you a lot of content, a lot of free resources, a lot of free information, once you get to know me within that Facebook community, then people will decide when they're ready to work with you. It's like I'm trying to close that gap and that
Yeah,
loop in the Facebook community.
I do the same thing with YouTube. YouTube is where I try and funnel in new
New
leads,
leads.
new,
Yeah,
and then I've got a private Facebook group that anybody can apply to join. The only thing I ask them to do is just like let me know what your YouTube channel is, or if you don't have one, why, that kind of thing.
yeah.
Because there's people, and initially when I did it, people were trying to get in just to spam other trainers with stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but yeah, at least with Facebook, you're able to be able to actually write and communicate with people, and they can communicate with each other. That's one thing with
That's
YouTube.
right.
And Instagram's kind of the same. You don't have a lot of direct communication with a group.
That's right.
Whereas with Facebook, you can put out posts and it doesn't always have to be video and stuff. Just going to sidetrack for a sec. A question
Hmm.
come in from Kish.
Yeah.
How do you encourage clients to share before and after pics when they seem uncomfortable about it? Good question.
Okay. So yeah, I get like a lot of questions about that. Like, how do you get people to share your before and after? So I have check-ins, right? My clients do check-in forms that do require them to submit their photos. And normally when I do their before and after photos, I cut their head off. Okay. So
Okay.
you can't see their head. And when I share them the before and after photos, I just ask them, hey, would you be comfortable with me sharing this on social media? Some clients say no, but majority of my clients are like so proud of the changes that they're physically seeing that they want to share it. You know, a lot of my clients, they start with me and they're like, I want to be your next before and after photo. Like, I want to be the next person on there. And I think they feel comfortable because their face is not showing on there. And some of them are like, I don't care if you show my face. Some of them are like, you know, yeah, I'm totally fine. Some of them, please post anonymously. But I do ask them, hey, would you be comfortable with me sharing this photo anonymously? Or if you want me to share your name, I'm happy to do that as well too. Let me know what you're comfortable with. But I ask permission. And I would say, like 80% of the time that I'm asking, like 80% of the people that I'm asking, my clients are saying yes. I probably get like maybe 20% that are saying no.
And you'd probably get that worse if it is a lot of local people to a small town, because they're going to be afraid that somebody's going to recognize their body or something. A good fallback too on that, Kish, is if you're getting people to do before and after pictures, get them. I mean, obviously the one you see the most is usually a bikini or you know, underwear and bra or something like that. Get them to do something in clothes. At least worst case, if they absolutely refuse, you've got them in clothes. And then when you do that after shoot, particularly, I don't know, Sarah, if you do the more, you know, professional photographer after shoots.
Yeah, I do.
Then, I mean, you know that they're going to be dressed for it. They're going to have people there helping the parents. So there is going to be a huge difference. No, you don't see, you know, their actual belly and things like that. But at least you have a fallback if they refuse to show any skin for before and after. You've got something you can use for something as a fallback. Just get them in a nice outfit for the after thing, something that's kind of form fitting, and then just do that.
Yeah, I mean, I've always decided to like just do their body only, so that they would be like, okay, my face is not showing on there. I'm totally comfortable with that. Go ahead. But you know, those before and after photos, that's your social proof.
Yeah.
So it's a big thing. Like, yes, you could share text messages. Yes, you can share testimonials from your clients, which I think are really great. And what I used in the beginning when I didn't have before and after photos, I started with that first. Like, hey, they sent me a text. Oh my God, this sweater fits me now, or these jeans fit me that I haven't worn in so long. Like, hey, do you mind if I share this text on my social? Like, I'll just block out your name. Do you mind if I share that? Yeah, sure. Go ahead. So I started off with that first. And then once I started getting some really great transformations, I started sharing that. And one other trick as well, too, is like, you could share the same transformation, the same person. Maybe you do front, maybe you do back, maybe you do side profile. You could share that transformation 3 different times. And you could share, the important thing is when you're sharing that transformation is the story behind it too. Yeah. And normally when I share the story is like, this is where she was at before she came to me. This is why she came to me. This is the process that I took her through. So I talk about my methodologies and how I help them get through that when I'm sharing their stories.
Okay. Good. Glad to hear it was helpful, Kish. If any of you guys have questions, feel free to fire away at any time. We'll probably be on here with Sarah until about noon. Or a few minutes before that. I can also take some questions at the end. And so, okay. So obviously, like we've kind of established, a high percentage of your clients and a lot of referrals, local referrals. Now, obviously, the only control you have over that is continuing to produce results, which I'm sure you do. What do you do in addition to that? I mean, because obviously you probably don't just sit back and wait for referrals. I'm sure you're utilizing social media and things like that to, you know, access anybody you can. What are the things you do let's say you never get another referral again, what are you doing to try and build your brand and bring in clients on online platforms?
Yeah. So lots of different things that I'm doing to do it. But what I like to do a lot of times is like every quarter I put out an offer like, hey, like I just did in April, I did my summer shape up program.
Mm-hmm.
So I put out an invitation for people to work with me. So I have an email list that I've built out. Okay. I built up that email list a few ways. So I have my, we call it a VEC, value exchange content, or, you know, your freebie that you want to give out to someone. So I have a guide that if people want that guide, they need to provide me with their email list. So I have the email list as well too that I pump that out to. I communicate in that offer on Instagram and also on my Facebook private page, and also my Facebook private group, and then also on my Facebook page. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I do that quarterly. So I have frameworks that I cycle all the time. The other thing that I do as well too is challenges. Okay. So these are not, I don't do paid challenges. I do free challenges. And the point of me doing the free challenges is to really nurture my leads in either a 7-day, I'll do a 7-day, 14 or 21 day challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what I'm doing during this challenge is, and it could be really simple things like the best challenges is where we're building up habits. So like basically the first week, you know, maybe the first week we're just walking 8 to 10K steps per day. Maybe the challenge is we're drinking water, like 3 to 4 liters of water. Maybe the challenge is track your food in MyFitnessPal. These are some of the things that I do in terms of the challenge. And I run the challenge in my private Facebook community so that everybody else that's watching can see what's happening in this challenge.
Right.
Now, this gives me an opportunity to really nurture those leads or the people that have signed up for the challenge. Okay. And normally I'll put an offer in either at the beginning of the challenge or at the end of the challenge. I do Zoom calls with the people that are in the challenge. I go live in my private Facebook group community. So they're really having a lot of touch points from me. Plus, I've given them a lot of free resources that for free. So they're thinking like, hey, if I'm getting all of this free stuff from Sara, and this is a free challenge that I'm working with Sara, and this is completely free, what am I going to get with her when I actually work with her?
Mm-hmm. So do you engage that conversation of, hey, maybe you should come work with me? Like, or do you just, is the plan that you hope that they realize that and jump forward themselves, or do you have to kind of pull them towards you?
Yeah. So when I did my last 21-day challenge in March, so I had weekly Zoom calls that I would do. And the first call that I had with them, it's like, hey, listen, I know a lot of you are here because you want to lose weight and that's your goal. But let's get really, you know, I'm going to be really frank and honest with you. We all know that it takes longer than 21 days to lose 20 pounds, right? We know that it's going to take longer for you to achieve this goal. So here, I'm going to put out an offer for you that if anybody wants to work with me one-on-one, and you're part of this challenge, here's a special offer just for those of you that are on here. Please text me. And then I get on a call with them and I give them an offer that, hey, if you start now and you commit right now, this is what I'm going to offer you. Then at the end of the challenge, I get them to fill out like an exit survey. And then I get on a call with them, just basically like, hey, what's going to be your plan moving forward? How are you going? You know, your goal is you want to lose 20 pounds. What's your plan to lose that the 20 pound moving forward? And again, I'm inviting them again to work with me.
Okay.
Okay. So I have like a front end and a back end offer in my challenge that I'm offering them.
And now, do you limit those challenges to like 5 people, 10 people? Like, do you put kind of like that restriction on it?
But my last challenge, I think I had 110 people sign up for it. So not all
100.
of
Oh,
them
wow.
did it. Not all of them did it. Like typically with challenges, you have like in the beginning, everybody's gun ho, everybody wants to do it, right? So we have a lot of participation in the beginning, and then it starts to dwindle down by the end of the challenge.
Right.
But yeah, no, I don't have any limit because the way that I've set it up is like I give them all of the same resources. It's all run within the community. It's not a lot of effort on my behalf, except for that I have to show up live more often and have more Zoom calls with these people that are participating. And then we're just nurturing, like having a lot of conversations with them. Hey, how's it going? Every day they have to post in the group that they completed that daily task. So they're engaging within the community. I'm engaging back with them. It gives us a lot of conversations. That's the biggest thing. Like you got to have conversations with these people, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I structure the challenges. So that's one of the frameworks that I use to within my business. And I will say, you got to plan this stuff out. Like you cannot sit there and wait for people to come to you. You need to put things in place, frameworks in place so that you are inviting people to come and work with you. So the challenges work really good. Sometimes I'll do challenges with no offers, to be honest with you. Sometimes I'll do challenges just to nurture for people, just so that people get to know me.
Like it's all brand exposure for sure.
It is. And so a lot of times I've done challenges, maybe a 7-day challenge. It's a smaller challenge, 7-day, 5-day challenge. And at the end of it, like just by the conversations that I'm having with those women during my challenge, by the end of it, they are more interested in working with me.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they might not know me very well. So it gives them an opportunity to know who I am, what I do, and how I can help them at the end of the day. And I think when people are picking coaches to work with them, it's not like they do their research. They need their time to really gain that trust with you or want to have some sort of that resonates with them to choose you to work with them at the end of the day.
Totally. So we've kind of gone over, how you've got everything structured. So you do the challenges. The purpose of the challenges is hopefully to funnel people into a larger program. How long do your programs usually last? I'm kind of curious now is how you structure the actual program. So now your programs are nutrition and fitness based.
Fitness, yeah. So they get both training and nutrition. Yeah.
Is it private weekly calls or group calls once a week, or how? I'm just wondering how because I mean, obviously, you're married, you have children, you've got lots going on. Like, how do you structure this that you can actually fit it all into a week?
Yeah. So the way that my coaching program works is that for the first month, they meet with me weekly. So we do a full assessment, right? We do a full online assessment. Then I give them their nutrition and their training program. For the first month, I do a 15-minute check-in call with them just to make sure.
This is private. This is between the one-on-one. Okay.
Yeah, one-on-one private check-in call with that particular client. After the first month, we go to bi-weekly check-in calls. And the client is also responsible every 2 weeks to submit a check-in form to us as well, too. So I now actually have an assistant coach as well, too. So the coaching calls are either done with myself or my assistant coach. And they're 15 minutes. Our clients know what we're looking for. It's basically, what were your wins? What were your struggles? And what are your goals? So those are the 3 things that we're outlining during that check-in call. So that we're like outlining their highlights. And then if they're struggling with anything, we are providing feedback to the client on how we can help them with that. And then at the end of the call, it's like, hey, what are your goals that we're going to work on for the next week or 2 weeks?
Is the actual fitness element of the program based on heading to a gym, or?
It can depend on the client. So most of my clients work out from home. 80% of my clients work out from home because they're moms, they're busy professionals, they don't have time to go to the gym. So we structure their program based on where they want to work out. So if they're working out at home, they need dumbbells, they need resistance bands, they need They need a ball, they need a mat to start off with. We will suggest other equipment to grow their home gym, but just to get started, that's all they need.
Okay.
And then I use an app called FitLog, which is similar to Trainerize. That is how I deliver their training program to them. There's exercise video demos to show them exactly how to do those exercises. They execute and do the program whenever they want on their own time. And then for our clients that want to work out at the gym, we give them a gym program. Just depending on where they want to work out, we customize that program for them.
Okay. That's because that's something that I've run into in the past myself is if somebody is doing the training from home and they have one set of 3-pound dumbbells and that's all they have and they're not buying anything else. And it's like, have you ever run into that where it's like, you kind of know that maybe there's not enough there for them to work with? And
I tell them on the call, like, this is what you need. You need dumbbells. Yeah. Are you willing to invest in that? Like, like one set of 3-pound dumbbells is not going to work. You're going to grow that very quickly. Yeah. So I give them on the call, when the discovery call, when they're interested in working with us, you need dumbbells, you need resistance band. If you don't have it, are you willing to pick it up?
Right. So how do you come up with pricing for something like this?
Yeah. So when I first started, I started very low. Like I went monthly, like I think it was like $150 a month. Mm-hmm. And then as I started getting results and I felt more comfortable in my coaching and more comfortable in knowing I know how to get my clients results, I eventually started like increasing my pricing. Mm-hmm. And I've tried a few different models where it was like, prepay for like a certain amount at a time. I would do a 4-month minimum block, or you could prepay for it or pay for it monthly. Now I'm trying a different model where they pay an enrollment fee and then they pay a monthly coaching investment. And there's no minimum with that. They just have to provide me with a certain amount of days of notice if they want to cancel. So that's my model right now. And I kind of like it as opposed to giving like 4 months and that's it. It's like, well, maybe we're not going to get to your goal in 4 months, depending on how much weight you want to lose or depending on your lifestyle and where you're currently at. Like we might not get there in 4 months. So with this model where we just go monthly, basically, we go until we get them to their goal.
Yeah. It was interesting when Jackie and I were talking last week, our philosophies of pricing were completely a 180 of each other.
Okay.
Because what I do is essentially, and my version of coaching is coaching you like fitness brands on growing YouTube channels and creating funnels for clients. But it's basically free content, and then it's membership area, which is low monthly fee, which helps me kind of separate, the ones that are just basically checking in the videos to the ones that are pretty serious. Even if somebody's willing to put $5 or $10 a month on a credit card, they're pretty serious about doing something. So now you kind of can separate a little bit. Now those people you look at and you have a little bit more of an intimate relationship with because they're getting private access to you. And then they're the ones that oftentimes you can convert into maybe a consultation call, and then from there potentially a membership or different services like that. Jackie, and I think this is actually kind of how the Strong Girls have set it up. It's more of a higher price buy-in, and then it builds. And when they've kind of outgrown the program, they try and find a different spot for them that could be a lower price, kind of a maintenance thing or something. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know the exact version of it, but it's interesting that there's so many different ways you can do this. And I don't think one's right or one's wrong. It's just that's always how I did it, and that's always how she did it.
Yeah, because there does come a point with me where we get our clients to our goal, right? So a lot of times, like they don't need the one-on-one coaching anymore. So I have a membership platform for my clients. Once they're done one-on-one coaching, they've actually reached their goal. They built up all the habits so that they know how to sustain this, and then they go into a membership platform. And that platform there, I do one group coaching call a month. And then they still get their customized training program loaded onto the FitLog app that I use.
Yeah.
So they can still continue to progress with their training on their own.
Perfect. All right. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I haven't asked you yet.
Actually, one thing I do want to talk about though is quickly is how I nurture within my Facebook community, because I funnel a lot into my Facebook community, but I have a very detailed sequence of what happens when because like you can have a Facebook community, but if you don't have a proper nurture sequence, those people are not going to be engaged anymore, right?
Right.
So when people join my community, I ask them 3 questions. And one of those questions, I'm trying to capture their email address in exchange for my high protein recipe book. So right off the back, I'm giving them a freebie. So then that goes into my CRM system, and I start them with a 6 email sequence from there. But then when they join my Facebook community too, I also have a sequence in there as well too. So I have 3 videos that we tag them in. Every 3 days we tag them in the video, like what the community is about, who I am, my process, who I help. And then the other one is the difference between online coaching and in-person personal training, so that they have these videos to watch when they come in there. But then also based on the questions that they answer when they come into my group, like what are your fitness goals? What are you struggling with? I have a whole bunch of like VECs, or I have PDF documents that I send them through Messenger. Okay. So it's like, hey, I noticed that your number 1 goal was like you wanted to lose body fat. I have this guide, 5 ways to maximize fat loss. I think this would be really helpful for you. Check it out. I'm not asking for anything. I'm giving. Yep. And then twice a week, I go live in my Facebook group. So I have various topics that I cover. I have guest speakers that come into my Facebook group as well too. But I also use those lives as a way to tag these new members when they come in. So I tag them in these lives so that they can start watching content and consuming content within my Facebook community too.
Right. I think it's super important when you have those communities to have some kind of a barrier of entry, I guess it's called. Again, it's a very big in the fitness world. People just want the quantity of members because they feel it makes them look more important. I would much rather have a community of 100 people who are very engaged in your content and your offering than to have 1,000 people barely paying attention.
Exactly.
And I think that's why, like, for almost every different way, like, again, when I speak, a lot of it is towards YouTube, but the quantity of your subscribers is almost completely irrelevant in 2023 for growing a business, especially for like, I just want people to watch the videos. If you're watching the videos and enjoying them, I'll get you into wherever I need you to go. Or with my partnership with Jackie, they find Jackie and she ends up, converting them into coaching clients and things like that. It's such a non-point now to be concerned about. I mean, with this YouTube channel, as 123 members is when I first started making money off of it. And that seems ridiculous. By 1,000 members, I was making a full-time income.
Wow.
And that's just this channel, not to mention the other channel, not to mention my actual career and things like that. So doing 1 video a week, because and again, when you're very precise with your offering, you kind of have I'm sure that you're probably fairly targeted at 40 something,
40 above. 40 above chronic dieting women. That's my message all the time. Even when people come into my Facebook group, I help. These are the type of women that I help. This is what I do. So before you come into the community, the women will say, that's not me. I'm not a chronic dieter. So this doesn't interest me.
Yeah. And it's not to say you can't help other people in that, but it's just, again, like when I do YouTube videos, I mean, some of the biggest videos on my actual channel are sandbag videos. And the reason is it's sandbag's not that popular. But guess what? Nobody's doing sandbag videos on YouTube. So when somebody
Yeah.
does search for a sandbag video, and the world is a big place, I'm coming up all over the place on page one. And that's kind of the same thing. Like I've had clients who have said, like my brand is for everyone, because they think that by limiting or focusing in on a certain clientele and talking to a more particular person, that they're limiting themselves. But it's like, well, you being for everyone has got you nobody.
Yeah.
So why don't we try it this way and see what happens? So I
Yeah,
think that's good. And the fact that you've gone through it, you can show before and afters of yourself. You are
yeah,
a 40-something-year-old woman who
yeah,
has lost 50 pounds. And then you did go out and get, you're not just, here's my journey, here's what I did. You actually went out and got the credentials as well. So
yeah,
now you've got the experience of actually transforming yourself. Then you got the education and credentials. And now you've created this program and gone from there. So,
yeah. Like one thing I want to point out is like I don't have a big following. Like on Instagram, I've got like maybe 2,000 followers.
mhm.
My Facebook group is only, I think we're just at 1,200 members. Right. I don't have a lot of followers, but they are interested followers and they are the
Yeah.
right type of followers that I have. And that's one thing that I want, for those of you watching, you don't have to have a huge following to be really
No.
successful.
No, to me, it's a 2% conversion rate.
Yeah.
If you have 1,000 followers, 500 followers, and you convert 2%, you've got a pretty okay personal training business happening. Like it's not, and 2% is not a big number. So I mean, and again, if you're getting the right followers and the right engagement from people who are your kind of avatar of your ideal client, you're going to be able to convert a higher percentage than that.
Yeah.
This whole thing of, but let's just throw everything at the wall and let's bring everybody in and let's get fake followers so I look more important, and let's get some
Oh,
fake
God.
views in this. Like I always ask people, because I've dealt with clients like this who try and tell me they don't have fake followers, when this is part of what I've done for a living. I've audited, like when companies I worked for in the past are about to hand over large quantities of money to an influencer, do you think we're not doing our due diligence?
That's right.
And I know how to do it. And it's like, listen, I know either you're huge in India right now,
Yeah.
or you're lying to me. And I said, and I'm gonna go with the fact that I don't think you're that big in India.
Yeah. And I think people may need to realize, like, when you buy fake followers, like, you're not going to get the people that are really interested in your content to see your content.
No, like in addition to that, it just doesn't work. I don't follow anybody because they're popular. I follow people because I'm interested.
That's right.
And when it comes to YouTube, when you YouTube is all based on the algorithm, and once the YouTube algorithm, because this is just a robot, once it understands who you are and what you're offering, and this is why it's important to be very specific with what you offer. Once they understand that, then it starts to look, okay, let's look at the people watching videos on YouTube. Who, now that I know who he is, who's watching that kind of videos, these people, let's recommend his videos to them and see what happens. If you're buying followers, oftentimes they do come from overseas. So suddenly they're popping up from, and it doesn't really matter where they're popping up from. If somebody does this for a living, they use these fake accounts to give people subscribers. They're subscribed to gaming channels, they're subscribed to celebrities, they're subscribed to every different kind of channel. And so the viewing habits of these fake bots are all over the place. So the algorithm can't establish who you are, because it's like they don't know, like the people who are following you who are fake, they're watching everything, and you can't establish what are their interests, what is the common denominator here.
That's
so I know,
right.
and so it actually brings down your impressions, which lowers your actual organic views.
Yeah.
Like it actually hurts you, and the only thing you gain from it, I guess, is a vanity metric. So I get so mad about that with people, because it's like you're hurting yourself. It does not I don't care what your reasoning is behind it. I think the only way you could potentially like I try and be open-minded about anything like that, but the only way you could even potentially justify it is if you've got a potential sponsor who's so stupid they don't do their due diligence on you, and they're going to give you money for that.
I know. Actually, this is one thing that kind of annoys me with these brands that want to find people to work with, the first thing that they look at is your followers.
Yep.
And I think that needs to change, because they'll come to my page and be like, oh, she's only got 2,000 followers, but they don't know how successful my business is in the background, right? They don't know that, yeah, okay, my followers are loyal, and they're engaged in my community, and if I tell them to go and get something, they're going to go and get it, right? So it's just like, I wish that more companies, and I think some companies are realizing that, but it's just, a lot of people show up to your page and like, oh, how many followers does she have? Oh, she doesn't have a lot. She must not be that good. And I think a lot of people have that impression, even just regular people, coming there that are like, oh, she doesn't have a lot of followers. Like she's nobody.
Yep. I've seen influencers get 50,000 a year with huge fake followings. I've seen influencers get as high as $100,000 a year with huge fake followings. And they didn't even have to post a video on their own social media of the product that I was working with. Like, it's insane. And it still happens. That's the craziest thing, is that with all that, like, there's even apps on your phone that you can download and you can check this yourself. It's not hard to check anymore, but people just, some of these brands just, they're so behind the times, they don't realize that it's just, maybe when it's, I think sometimes when the bigger you get, it doesn't matter because they're not dealing with their own money. So they don't care. Let's just put pretty people with the products and give them a bunch of money so we look cool. And it's like, well, do what you want to do. It's not going to sell product. And that's kind of what we're here for. So
exactly.
But it's a huge problem. I do think that it's getting a little bit better. Not, like you say, not fast enough, but
no,
people still judge on that, and it's unfortunate.
Really
I still believe though that focusing on quality of content, and really kind of building a clientele is the way to do it, because the other way is a huge saturated environment as it is. Even if you started doing that tomorrow, there's no guarantee that you're going to get anything more than like a product sponsorship or something like that. Whereas if you build an engaged community of people, like when I got my sponsorships with YouTube, I'm able to actually put together a docket and say, I've got this many subscribers. And they spend an average of 22 minutes a day on my channel. Not, not a nanosecond when they're scrolling up Instagram. They're on my channel for 22 minutes. That gives me a lot of time to talk about your product over and over and over again. And here's what I charge for that. And I did a video on it a while ago, but I think I sent out feelers to like 200 different brands. I went, this is during COVID, to try and get sponsorships. And from 200 brands, I got 3 sponsorships. Those 3 sponsorships were a solid full-time income.
Awesome.
The percentage doesn't sound good, but I didn't expect to get 200 sponsorships. I expected to get 1, and I got 3, and it was good. And so that's the same thing. Like, again, and this was with under 10,000 subscribers. I didn't need to bump it up to 1 million or anything like that. It was just, if you know how to pitch yourself, and if you pay attention to this stuff, and if you listen to the right people and follow the right people, you'll learn this stuff. Anyway, I won't hold you up. I know you've got coaching calls all day today.
I do.
But thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you for having me.
Definitely. Anytime you want to come back, you just let me know.
I will.
You're not far away. We'll get you in studio one of these days.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm totally up for that.
And Sarah's contact info, if it's, I think your Instagram's already in the description of this video. If you guys want to connect with Sara, be sure to go follow her on Instagram.
Shoot me a DM.
Absolutely. Shoot her a DM. But thanks again. And I'm sure we'll be talking very soon. And for the rest of you guys, I'm going to sign off as well. And you guys have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them. Be sure to like this video if you are watching this video, because it does help us get noticed. So take care, everyone. We will see you next week.
Okay. Bye, everyone.